Elon Musk should have anticipated this, as the NASA revelation has seriously undermined his plans to inhabit Mars. In this video, we'll walk you through NASA's rover's bizarre discovery and explain why it contradicts the notion that there might be life on Mars. Then you will understand how a quest for planet settlement can change direction due to two competing scientific discoveries. Keep reading to learn what Elon has to offer following NASA's discovery. Perseverance rover from NASA. Mars is currently gathering rock core samples. These samples were discovered in an area known as one of the richest in finding proof of prehistoric microbial life on the planet. The rover has collected 4 representatives from the G crater and a former river delta on Mars since midsummer, bringing the total number of fascinating rock samples collected by the river to 12. 28 kilometers long, on Mars. According to the Mars Exploration Program website, NASA's tenacity scoured the sandy soil of the G crater. However, the rover discovered a delta and gathered encouraging data from it in the past. About 3.5 billion years ago, the delta, an ancient fan-shaped structure, collided with the Martian lake. The rover's main objective was to inform the inhabitants of Earth about the availability of carbon dioxide and water. Perseverance is now examining the sedentary rocks formed as particles of various sizes settled in the once watery environment and are present in the delta. The clever gems were eventually discovered to have formed via volcanic activity on the surface, or as a component of magma deep underneath. The Sherlock, the spectrometer NASA used to search for organic molecules, provided great news once the rocks were inspected. The stones showed evidence of carbon-containing compounds. NASA's Endurance rover has discovered strange purple coatings on the rocks at a distance of 23 kilometers. Jezero crater. These ubiquitous coatings are comparable to the fares that develop in Earth's deserts when bacteria are present. We can better comprehend the environment in which the organics were created thanks to this trip. Luther Beagle, who is watching Sherlock, remarks, more analysis must be done to ascertain the mechanism of synthesis for the detected organics. Indeed, the presence of organic molecules does not imply the existence of living things. However, there is not enough information available to make any conclusions. We've just begun to scratch the surface. The identical samples subjected to Sherlock include a particular class of organic chemical connected to sulfate. Organic compounds. NASA is examining sedimentary rock strata that include sulfate minerals to learn more about how these minerals evolve in aquatic environments. Now, Elon Musk will benefit from this. Therefore, while you watch our program, let's determine what would thwart his objectives. While waiting, living things on Earth prefer to employ the heavier form of carbon for metabolic or photosynthetic processes. The lighter form is far less prevalent than the more severe form. In Gale crater on Mars, fewer carbon isotopes were discovered in 5 places. Contrary to their heavier siblings, they were far more prevalent. They match what was observed in a meteorite in the Martian. The rocks are based on carbon ratios found in Australia in the Tobiai Rock Formation, which is 2.7 billion years old and contains carbon from long-extinct methane-producing microbes. Water on Mars. The NASA team delivered some negative news following an additional investigation. Despite evidence to the contrary, they stated that Mars, gushing water the atmosphere that made it feasible for water on land billions of years ago has been largely destroyed by solar, wind, and radiation. It would take roughly 10 million years to double Mars' current atmosphere if it became isolated again. Thus, even if traveling there is similar to taking a stroll across our solar system, humans may not even be present. According to NASA, there isn't enough carbon dioxide on Mars to manually change the planet in any way that would make it inhabited. It is virtually useless that Elon Musk wants to transform Mars into a world where people can roam freely. If that's the situation, the lowest and highest recorded temperatures on Mars, using today as the date, were -4 and -98, respectively. Data collected from NASA. The atmospheric pressure on Mars is roughly 0.6% that of Earth. Scientists assert that to raise temperatures high enough to support stable liquid, Mars must have carbon dioxide pressure similar to Earth's entire atmosphere. This is because Mars is further from the Sun than Earth. The American Geophysical Union claimed that researchers found layers of ice and silt beneath Mars's North Pole. However, after a year of analyzing data from NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, carbon dioxide, NASA hasn't yet developed the tools necessary to get water from Martian soil. Speaking to Stephen Colbert on his show, Elon Musk declared Mars to be a planet that needs some work. Okay, give me the quick, please. The fastest method involved dropping thermonuclear weapons over the polar regions. He claims that it needs to be fixed before Mars can be populated appropriately. Most notoriously, he said that the easiest way to achieve this would be to explode thermonuclear bombs over the poles, which would melt carbon dioxide and ice and create a greenhouse effect, following it due to the heavier end. Nuclear weapon. Therefore, the most accessible source of carbon dioxide to date is undoubtedly found in the polar ice caps. Only 1.2% as much carbon dioxide would be produced by fully melted ice caps to raise the pressure on Mars. According to NASA's calculations, raising the temperature of the Martian soil to release carbon dioxide atoms would only increase the required air pressure by 4%. Even a thorough search for carbon trapped in subsurface mineral formations would only uncover 5% of the pressure needed to keep liquid water at its desired temperature. Additionally, we would have to mine the entire planet at a depth of about 100 meters. That appears to be a task that could take a while to finish. Our calculations show that there is not enough carbon dioxide left on Mars to produce much greenhouse warming if the gas is brute forced into the atmosphere, according to Professor B.R. Jakowski of the University of Colorado. He continues that most carbon dioxide gas is inaccessible and challenging to mobilize. So, using existing technology, terraforming Mars is not possible. Strip mining. Elon Musk remains adamant that SpaceX will take humans to Mars by 2026. Still, as National Geographic reports, he stressed that this is more about humanity becoming multiplanetary than everyone flying there. This is about having a fantastic sense of adventure and lowering existential danger. On September 27th at the International Astronomical Congress in Gary, Mexico. In 2002, Elon Musk founded SpaceX with the sole objective of landing humans on Mars. He claims that he wondered why humans hadn't been too far into space or to Mars at the time. He revealed this to Ron Howard at the National Geographic's Mars series following the accomplishments of the Apollo moon missions. It always seems like we humans should have traveled there by now and established a base with hotels and everything else. I had assumed that it was a willpower issue. That wasn't it. Elon Musk. Although his plan to colonize Mars is more like an endurance event than a sprint, Elon Musk's grandiosity would not be deterred. It's not impossible to eventually achieve the objective of building a second residence in the solar system. If Musk can lower prices to the levels he wants, his idea might come to fruition. It stands out from centuries of science and imagination because all of our history's geniuses were a hack. Musk's expenses for his space journey must drop to about $200,000. This is the typical price of a home in the US. It will guarantee that visiting Mars is viable. The issue is that it represents a significant reduction from the current cost estimates. Musk admitted to the interviewer that he couldn't handle everything alone. The public and private sectors would work together in a cooperative relationship. The plan appeared to have many problems, but despite today's setbacks, tomorrow would be better. Praises and problems. Elon's accomplishments and plans will be seen by future generations by 2060. All hands are on deck because Elon wants to colonize Mars. We merely need to believe in Elon's active role in technological progress. You will undoubtedly appreciate this video if you like the last one. But first, do you think Elon will find a happy ending for his project? Or will it come to an unhappy end? That's all for today. Thanks for watching the video.